Okay, so here we are live on Tuesday with Paul.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Today in the next few sessions, we'll go through advertising, and especially we start with YouTube ads and everything you need to know about YouTube ads. So today we'll start with creating videos, scripting, creating videos, shooting. Maybe we'll talk a bit about editing, post-production, but just simple stuff. So, because obviously when you want to advertise on YouTube or using video ads, even if it's on YouTube or Facebook, you need videos. So that's the main ingredient. So we'll start with that. Mm-hmm. And because once you have videos, then you can start creating campaigns. And next week, so normally next week we talk about creating campaigns, how to set up your campaigns, and in the following weeks, how to optimize your campaigns, what kind of optimization parameters you can activate, and where to look at in the YouTube, in the Google Ads Manager, to optimize, how to test audiences, topics, keywords, all that kind of stuff. So you can you can make sure you have the best campaign possible. Okay, so well, we don't have a lot of action right now, so no questions. And yeah, I mean, we can get started.
Yeah, shall I just go through what I'm doing here and all that sort of stuff? I'll do that. Okay, that's good. All right, hi guys. Okay, so now I'm on the big screen, so you can see the kit that I've got here behind me. I'm going to go through the kit that I use and what cameras I've got and all that sort of stuff for making our YouTube videos, but training videos and YouTube ads and videos in general, really. And the kit that I've got, I mean, it looks like there's quite a lot, and I suppose there are lots of little bits, really, but it's not hugely expensive, and that's, that surprised me. I mean, you could, when I first started looking at cameras and things like that, we were looking at cameras that were like £2,000-3,000, which the big TV type of cameras that sit on your shoulder. You just don't need any of that kind of stuff. I think the most important thing from in our experience and from people that we've spoken to, the best thing that you can do is make sure you've got good sound quality. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the mics that I've got, because I've actually got two, and it depends on which camera I use. And that determines which mic I use as well. So I'll talk about all of that and go through that as well. But I don't know if you remember from, I think we did it a couple of weeks ago. I want to start with some scripting. Now, I think, JP, correct me if I'm wrong, did we upload a YouTube script into the group?
Yeah, I think we already have yes, a template for a YouTube script.
I think we did. I'm going to share my screen, guys, or one of them. Bear with me 1 second. Let me just see if I can find it. Here we go. So this one is the YouTube ad campaign. So this is the script. Can you see it?
Let me activate it.
Oh, sorry, my fault. Can you see it now?
Do you want it full screen, maybe?
Yeah. That's fine. That's plenty good enough. I can see that I can see it on this because I've got multiple windows open. Okay, so anyway, this is the script that you've already got. I think you've got access to in the group. So it's the sort of 2-minute awareness video script that talks about the hook, the why, and the benefits, and the recap, and the call to action, things like that. So you'll be familiar with all of that. Now, essentially, for a YouTube ad, your video doesn't really want to run any longer than sort of 2 minutes, because what you need to do is you need to capture people's interest within the first sort of 5 to 7 seconds. What's really interesting about that, in that time frame, is if you equate that to an email subject line, you've got about 7 words or 7 seconds or something like that, 5 to 7 seconds, enough time to capture someone's interest to either open the email or to watch your video longer, which of course is what you want to do. So you always start with, in case of a video, you'll start with the hook, and that's the thing that makes them sit up and go, oh, what's that about? I need to watch some more. And it's the same thing with your email subject lines. You write an email subject line that makes them go, oh, what's that about? I've got to click on open it. So it's a similar sort of idea, really. So you start with the hook. So this is, and there are different types of video ad campaigns, if you like. I'm going to call them a series. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a moment, but this is the first one. So this is an awareness video, and it's really designed for somebody who doesn't know who you are, doesn't know your product, and it's kind of almost like a surprise, if you like. You know, you sort of jumping up and say, hello, it's me, this is what we're doing, come and have a look, this is what we can do for you. So it's kind of that, you know, awareness, wake up kind of campaign, kind of video that gets them to watch the rest of it. So again, 2 minutes long, no more than that. All right, so you can break it down, and you know, if you think about it in terms of a template, you write the hook, then what they get, and then the why, and then the benefits recap, and a call to action down here at the bottom. And if you use those sort of subheadings for each part of your script, you can't really go far wrong. It makes it much simpler. The most important thing is the hook. Within those first 5 seconds, you've got to grab them. You know, so for ours, it's what if you could have everything you need to create a profitable business online? You know, within those few seconds, and it's the emphasis on the everything that that attracts people's attention. They see lots of videos and things like that, and products that are selling online businesses, but it's when you say everything, because as you guys know, the thing that's missing from the majority of products out there, you know, video courses, ebooks, and that sort of software, that sort of stuff, is that how the hell do you do this? How do you put it all together? And how do you have access to people who are already doing it? And are they willing to share and help you get it started yourself? So it's the kind of the mentoring side of things that is missing, and everybody knows that. And that's the thing that's missing. So that's why I emphasize the word everything, because that immediately resonates with people, because immediately they're thinking, okay, what's missing from what I already know, and what is everything? Oh, okay, it's the teaching or the tutorial or the mentoring or something like that. And that's what people latch onto with that kind of everything word. You know, it's almost a hypnotic word, gets them really thinking. So it's really good in that respect. So you always start with a really good hook, and then, you know, follow the script down. Now, when you record it, or before you record it, what you want to do is say it out loud to yourself a few times, you know, and identify the words within your script that need emphasizing. Okay. And as an example, I did for this script is, you can see this was the word I wanted to emphasize. So I put it in italics and underlined it. So I knew when I was reading it, because I always read my scripts, I knew I needed to emphasize the word everything. So it kind of stood out from the rest of the paragraph. Okay, so those are the sort of things that you want to look for, and that's what you want to include in the hook, the big things that get people to sit up and take notice. Okay, so then you literally write out what they get. So these, you're maxing out on all of the benefits then, and start with, and the thing is to remember as well is when you're writing out a list of things, because this is essentially what it is, you want to start the first one and the last one in your list as the really, really big benefits, because people in a list remember the first one and the last one. So those, you want to hit those really hard, and that's kind of something from copywriting that people remember the most. So think about that when you're writing out benefits. And then you talk about the why they need what you're promoting. Okay, so you're talking about, you know, why it's good for them, how easy it is, how the fact, again, look, that anyone who wants a profitable business online can have one, that sort of stuff. So, you know, you're emphasizing the why this is good for them. How is it going to make their life better? Is it going to save them time? Is it going to save them money? Is it going to solve their problems, reduce their pain, increase their pleasure? Which are just 5 of the reasons that people buy right there. But that's the kind of thing that you are talking about in the why, is you're emphasizing the reasons people would buy. And then, of course, you can go through the benefits and talk about, again, everything that you've talked about before, and add in some more. Okay, so you're really layering it on, and then finalize it with a call to action. Now, in fact, if you think about this as well, what you'll find with a lot of people is they'll hit you with the hook, then a call to action, then they'll go into the rest of it. And sometimes, depending on time and the length of the script, of course, they'll add you know, another 1 or 2 calls to action throughout the video, which is not a bad idea, because you want to remind people exactly what they need to do all the time, you know, because as you guys know, you've got to tell people what to do, otherwise they just don't do it. Okay, so a call to action is, you always want to finish on one anyway. So that's the awareness video, and that's the script that you guys have got access to in the group. And this one is all about the hook. Okay, as you can see here. So you got a 5-second hook, high level. Can't even speak. High level explanation of the product or the service, the why they need it, and then the call to action. And that's really kind of the bullet points or the template for that. The next one in the series, though, is when people have identified and watched. So, JP, sorry.
Yeah, just to add to what you just said, the idea as well with a 5-second hook is really, and I think it's really important for people to understand it, because when you advertise on YouTube, for example, you will pay when people watch either your whole video when it's less than 30 seconds, or when they watch more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is really to qualify people right from the beginning. So you don't have just, curious people. You really want people interested in what you have. And this way you will only keep people interested, and they will watch your video ad, and then they will click on your ad. But you don't want, just to pay for random people who are just thinking, okay, yeah, it's a nice video, let's watch it. You really want to qualify people and get rid of all people who won't qualify. So the hook could also be done in a way that you even tell people, okay, if that's not you, you can just skip the video.
Yeah.
So you have the hook, and you can even add, really direct.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, Paul.
No. Okay. No. Absolutely right. And it's something that you need to think about. Absolutely right when you are creating the videos. So for me, really, I kind of think about how I'm going to hook people in and how I'm going to get them to watch the remainder of my video, so that yes, I know I'm going to end up paying for it. But as JP said quite rightly, what you're doing is you're using the script to qualify that viewer all the way through. So when they get down to the call to action and the button appears, they click on it without really hesitation. That's the goal. That's really what you're aiming for, and it's absolutely vital. Of course, that's the whole point of the video as well, particularly with the. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Get rid of that. There we go. Particularly with the awareness video, because you're kind of interrupting what they would normally be looking for. So it's important that you do that. So that's the first one, the awareness video, a couple of minutes long, and it's the same for all of the videos throughout the series. Next one then is this one here, a consideration video. So they're now aware of you. They've probably watched one of your videos or part of the video, and maybe through retargeting or a different campaign, this next video in this series, if you like, pops up. So we've got now a consideration video, which really gives them a much better idea of what you're doing, who you are, and how it's going to help them. So as you can see on there, give them a better idea of what your product or service can offer. Goodness me. Go away. There we go. So give them a better idea of what your product or service is all about and how it can help them. Okay, so this is kind of the template for that, really. Again, you've got the 5-second hook, so it's always important that you grab them. And then you transition into how the product is going to really benefit them. And so more time is spent on explaining the details of the features or the benefits, of course, which are the features of your product. So that's really the angle for that, where you want to be heading. So, and then you've got more information about you. And this is kind of the trust and rapport side of things. So you're helping them understand who you are and how you can help them. And so essentially what you're doing is you're talking to them as to why, and explaining to them as to why you are the best choice for them. And then of course, then you've got a call to action down here at the bottom. So that's the kind of second one really in the series, which is a consideration video. And then the last one, this one is kind of in your face. This is a click here now kind of video. This is the conversion one where you're actually just going straight for the sale. Now, they already know about you, what you stand for, what your product is, potentially what they can do, but maybe they're just kind of sitting on the fence a little bit, and they just need that little bit more of a gentle nudge. And that way then it's a really useful way of pushing them in towards the sale. Okay, so again, if you look at the template down here, we've got a 5-second hook, statement of outcomes about the product of the service and what's it going to do for them, an explanation of the features and the benefits and how it works, reinstate the outcome. So again, you're getting them to think about how you and your product is going to help them. And of course, you finish off with the call to action that is really all about and focus on getting that conversion. So it's a little bit more kind of in your face, really. So that's kind of the 3 video sequence. Obviously, you can add more in there, of course, if you want. But essentially, those 3 will work really well, and they follow the same thing. And when you're writing your scripts yourself, just list it out. So you've got the hook, the why, the what, the why, the benefits, and the calls to action. And you do that for that one. You do the same thing for this video. The hook, the high explanation, the why, the call to action. You can kind of see where I'm getting at. And that is the way that you want to do it and lay them out. And that way it makes writing the scripts really simple as well. Okay, so that's that. In terms of scripting, so they're nice and short, 2, maybe 3 minutes, certainly no more than that, and then you'll kind of be golden, really. And then later on, probably next week or the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about setting up the campaign itself inside Google. But for now, that's the scripting side of things. Now let's talk a little bit about how you record the videos, because there's a ton of options, really. And I suppose it really depends on how confident you are about being on camera. Okay. And if you think about it, probably the best way to do it in terms of building that trust and rapport instantly is for you to be on camera, be camera facing, so they can see your face, they hear your voice, they can see your mannerisms and all that sort of stuff. And that builds that trust and rapport really quickly. So, people are putting a face to a voice and of course the name, and that makes them want to watch more, which is really good. And of course, how you lay the video out in terms of how you shoot it, that has a bearing on that as well. And I'll talk about that and show you that in a moment. So that's probably the best version. And then you've got screen recordings of whatever description. So this could be a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, where you're recording your screen. Now, let me show you what I use. I use this one here. This is Screencast-O-Matic. It's not very expensive. I think it's about $15 for the year, something like that. It's really cheap, but it's really good. This is the sort of interface that you get. And you've got the choice of recording your whole screen, your webcam, or both. The beauty of recording both is if you are recording your screen, say a PowerPoint presentation, and you've got slides in the background, you can have you on camera facing and on screen as well at the same time. And the good thing about it is ordinarily when you fire it up, it starts off with your webcam and you right down in the bottom right hand corner, as you can kind of see in this little image here. But all you can do is just hold the left mouse button down and you can move yourself around the screen. So you can actually drag yourself up to the top or right. So it kind of makes it almost animated and a lot more interesting. And that's a really good thing to do, which is why I quite like Screencast-O-Matic. But again, there's so many other versions out there, but just go and have a look. I chose this one and I like it. So I've got no options with it. There is an editor in there as well. It's not a brilliant editor, but you can cut stuff. And so, if you're going all the time, you can cut those out and make it a little bit shorter and consequently a little bit cleaner, which is nice. So you can do that. It's a little bit clunky, I would say, for me anyway, on Screencast-O-Matic. But that's the one I use for doing screen and webcam and both recordings. It works really well. For editing, though, and I am not the best editor in the world. I edit it a little bit and then I give it to JP. So JP does the kind of final post-production. But rather than
you could also just if you don't want to do it yourself, you can just hand it over to some freelancer. You can find really great video guys on Fiverr. And they will happily do anything you want. So you don't really have to be technical. To some point, you can just record whatever you want, your screen, your webcam, and then you just ask someone to do the rest of the editing and post-production.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, Joe. Maybe because I'm perhaps a little bit too much of a control freak. I like to do it myself. But you're absolutely right. If you don't like to, then
Maybe what we can suggest is also an alternative to Screencast-O-Matic, which is a Screenflow.
Oh yes, for Macs, yeah.
Yeah, for Mac, Screenflow from I think it's from a company called Telestream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a software I've been using for like probably 10 years from the very beginning, and it's really the best out there. I would say for Mac, it's a lot easier to use than Adobe solutions. I think they have like Adobe Premiere or that kind of stuff for editing. But Screenflow can do the capture and of course the editing, post-production. If you have also access to like millions of stock footages and audio backgrounds or audio effects, I think it's an add-on, but which means that you really have all-in-one platform software to record, capture, and then edit and produce your videos.
Yeah, it's a great. I did have a quick look at it, JP, to be honest, but I haven't sort of taken anything because we've been busy doing other stuff. But yeah, guys, Screenflow I have had a look at it. It is really good, and it kind of takes the place of Screencast-O-Matic and Filmora, which is the software that I use for editing. Let me just click on that. There we go. So I use it for editing purely because you can get a lot more detailed. You can get into the timeline and do a lot more accurate cuts and edits. But again, I only use this one because I've used this for quite a few years. So I'm kind of used to it. But it does make complete sense to have everything under one roof, really, just like iPhone. Everything is under one roof, and Screenflow is good for that. So yeah, if you're on a Mac, and as I am here, I haven't looked at it properly yet, but it's ideal. You should go and have a good look at it. Is it expensive, JP? Screenflow, do you know? Well, not expensive, but because
I would just recheck. I think it's $200.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a cost involved with it, but again, as you guys already know, pretty much, with tools like video stuff, you get what you pay for in a lot of cases. So just think about that as well. But these are the ones that I use. So I use Screencast-O-Matic to do webcam and screen capturing and both, and then I edit things in Filmora, which is Wondershare, really, which is there. So I've just got these downloaded. But again, Screenflow is ideal. Okay, so so far you've got on a camera, or you can do your record your screen or something like that, and have you on there as well if you want to. Of course, you're using your webcam to do that if you're using both, so that's really good. The other alternative, of course, is that you don't have to be on camera at all if you don't want to. You can literally record your screen and record your voiceover as an MP3, and then use some software to sync the two together. And what software have we used, JP, for it? Can you remember? For syncing slides and sound?
Well, you have different options. If you just create simple slides, you can just use Easy. I think it's called Easy.
Oh, Easy VSL.
Easy VSL, yeah. Easy VSL, so it's fine. It's easy to use. You don't have a lot of controls on your slides, but you can just create, slides, add some images. What I'm now using, in fact, to create even slide-based videos is Screenflow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just add, a background and add your text within Screenflow. You can create text, you can create transitions, all that kind of stuff. So, so for me, it's easier now to just use. What we did, for example, in one of the last videos, you created the slides in Google Doc, in Google Slides.
Yeah.
And then we just capture each slide, and you can paste it as well in the video editor like Screenflow.
Okay, right. So
you can create transitions. So you can create slides in Google Slide, or you can then record them in your video editor by just taking some screenshots of each slide. I think even in Google Slide, you could just play. But yeah, maybe it's not. It's easier to just capture each slide, or you can use EasyVSL. Which are the two options I think we've been using the most. EasyVSL and now just screen capturing slides and editing. So then you can just sync with your voiceover.
Yeah, brilliant. I've actually just thought of another one that I haven't tested, but it's something I talked about in the free traffic masterclass. Is when you are if you want to turn content like blogs and things like that into a video, you can use something like Lumen 5. It's lumen5.com, and you just upload the script and they create the video for you. So they find the images and videos and things like that they think match. And then they sort of kind of create the video for you. And of course, you can upload your voiceover as an MP3 to it as well, which is a relatively new feature on Lumen 5. But again, that might be worth looking at as well. That saves you from being, if you didn't want to be on screen or on camera, it saves you doing that way. And on Lumen 5 particularly, you can replace everything. You can replace all the images and the videos that they choose. There's a ton of them. There's a free version of Lumen 5. I think you can do I think it's about 5 videos a month for free. If you do more than that, then there's a fee. But with the fee, I don't think it's overly expensive. It's worth looking at. With the fee, you get access to an awful lot more stock images and 4K videos and things like that. So it just opens up a whole new world. And of course, you can add text overlays and transitions and all that sort of stuff as well. So I suppose really what I'm saying is you can get as technical as you like, really. And for me, technically, as you guys know, I'm not brilliant, so I just kind of like to keep things as simple as possible. So I don't mind being on camera, as you guys know, so I don't have an issue with that. But Screenflow or Screencast-O-Matic or Filmora or whatever, go and have a look at those, because I think they're the simplest ways to go with those. Okay, so in terms of software, that's essentially what I use. I would with this, I'd edit it so we've got a sort of a nice clean video, really, and then I would pass it over to JP, because then JP can do all of the color changes and make it look a lot better than I could. So but you do have that option in Filmora to be able to do that. There's an awful lot. You can make it look really weird if you want to, but so that's the software that I use, guys. So what I want to talk about now is the equipment that I use. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can do that. Stop sharing. There we go. Can I go back on full screen, JP, if you wouldn't mind? If you can flip across. There we go. All right, good. Okay, so in terms of creating the videos, if I'm on camera like I am now, as you can see behind me, I've just got a blank white wall. My office is just one long white wall across here. So I can put stuff on the wall if I want to. I've got a green screen over there that I could slide in the back, and not that I've used that recently, but it's an option. So that's there. But so I've got a blank white wall, and that gives you lots of options in terms of lighting and coloring and things like that. And I suppose it depends on how complicated you want to get with it. But to kind of keep things nice and simple, I use very simple stuff. So I've got one of these. So this is just an HD webcam camcorder. Okay, this works really well. It sits on top of this tripod here, and it goes onto an SD card, and I record it and speak into the camera, and that's one way that I capture it. Okay, so that's one thing that I use. Not very expensive. I think I got that from Amazon, came the next day, so that was great, works really well. SD card, I just slot it into my Mac down here and just upload it, and then upload it into Filmora, Wondershare, and edit it. It works really well. So that's one way that I do it. Something else that I have got, what have I done with it? There we go. This is a little bit more upmarket, if you like, and that is this little camera. I haven't used it to its full yet, but let me just take it out of here. This is the Osmo Dji Pocket. Okay, that's the camera itself. Let me just switch it on. Switch on. There we go. Okay, so it's got, let me turn it around so you can see, it's got a little screen here. Now it's pointing at me at the moment, so you can see me. Let me just, if I, 1, 2, 3, tap that, it will turn itself around. So I'm now looking at you, and this is what you can see. So I'm recording my Mac here and all that sort of stuff. So this is, and as you can see, it's on a gimbal, and it tracks faces on all that sort of stuff, and it records in 720, 1080, and 4K as well. So this little camera is perfect if I'm going to be recording outside or in my car or something like that. And it's a bit like, I've got like kind of GoPro type of attachments as well that can go inside the car, and there's a little stick that I can, little selfie stick, because I can record and things like that. So it's really good in that respect, and it's so tiny, as you can see. That's it there. So what's about 4 inches by 1 inch wide. It's really good. This one's a little bit more expensive, but again, for what you get and what it does, you don't need anything else. It's a stop motion, slow motion. It's an amazing camera, and you can get some reviews if we wanted to have a look on YouTube. But this is a really good camera to use as well. And again, I just talk into the camera, look into the lens, which I suppose really is kind of the hardest part. Because if I just, I don't know if you can, no, let me just turn this around. Hang on a second. Oh, you can't see it, but if I just turn this around, yeah, so that's my Mac. That's what I'm looking at right now as I'm talking to you guys. Okay, and there's the camera just here. Okay, so the hardest part when you're recording something is to look into this little tiny dot, again, to realize that you're actually speaking to people on the other side of this tiny little pinhole. So you've got to kind of recognize that sort of stuff and keep that in mind when you're talking, because it's very easy to kind of let your eyes wander. And there's nothing more frustrating. I don't know about you, but if I watch videos, there's nothing more frustrating than watching a video and someone's actually not looking into the camera. They might be looking slightly over there, or just below it or above it, and it's so obvious. I just find it really uncomfortable. But anyway, that's something to bear in mind as when you're recording. If you're going to be on screen, is to be looking into the camera itself, so you're actually looking into someone's eyes as if you're having a conversation. So that's the DJI. I'll put it in this little case. The DJI Osmo Pocket. Fantastic little camera, and I've got this is a little widescreen lens that's it just in there, and it clicks on the front of it, so you can kind of get like a fishbowl kind of effect, that sort of stuff, and you get all sorts of stuff with it. One of the downsides to it, though, is if you're using that on its own, is the screen size, and it's really, if you're holding it for quite a long way away and you're looking into the camera over there, it's really hard to see exactly what's in the frame. So what it does come with is an app that goes on your phone, okay? And what happens is, just let me show you really quickly, is this little bit here, this looks like a little USB stick, slides out like that. Can you see me, JP? Hello? I think I disappeared for a second. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Very strange. Something weird is going on here. Let me just message this. Let's see how we go here. Okay. So I'll just carry on anyway.
Sorry, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's all right. I disappeared for a moment. The camera, the screen went black, and I thought, oh.
Yeah, you froze, but yeah, it's all fine. You're back.
All good. Okay. All right. So where was I? Yes. What I do have, hopefully you saw the bit with my phone attached to the side of the little Pocket Osmo that kind of goes on there like that. So then your camera becomes, or rather your mobile phone becomes your big screen, if you like, and you can see it from quite some way away, which is really cool. And it works really well. And there's lots of little things that you can do. But what you do need to do is have some kind of a little bit of a gadget like this, because I mentioned sound. So what would happen is I would slide the camera, the little Osmo, in there. my phone would sit in here, so it sits in there, and then I've got this Rode mic. So the camera itself, the DJI Osmo's got an external mic jack, so I use the Rode mic because it's a really good mic again for when I'm inside, or even from I'm outside. It works really well. And then we've got this little light here, so this kind of switches on and off and does all sorts of stuff, so it changes color and everything, so it works really well. So you can get a ton of stuff, and all of this gizmo, again, in terms of pounds, was about £25. So what's that, about $40, $35, $40, something like that. And you get all of that, apart from the mic itself, which is an additional separate purchase. But again, not very expensive, and you can have a really good setup. And this mic is excellent; it's really good. Okay, so that's what I use when I'm recording with my little Pocket Osmo. It sits in there like that. All right, so that's that one. Now, just put this down here. One thing I do, as I've mentioned already, is sound quality is absolutely essential when you're creating videos, because, you know, if you sound bad, people aren't going to listen to you anyway. They'll switch off straight away. So if I'm recording with a webcam, then I will use the same mic that I'm using right now, which is, let me just pull this into screen, which is this one. This is the Blue Yeti, and it's just got a pop filter on the front. So this is the one that I'm using now, actually, as I'm talking. And if I'm using my webcam to record a video, then that's the mic that I use, because that is, you know, absolutely superb. I think that's about, in dollars, probably about $100, $130, something like that. Again, get it off of Amazon. But, you know, if you can, I highly recommend that. It's within, you know, it's that almost professional without it being professional prices. Okay, so you know, that's a really good mic. So I recommend that one. Now, the other thing that I do that I talked about is I always, when I'm recording videos, I usually use a script, because, you know, JP and I, we will brainstorm all the stuff that needs to go in a script, you know, what needs to be included, what needs to be taken out, and we condense it so it's the right. But do you think I can memorize a 2-minute script? I probably could if I got days, but, you know, we like to get this stuff out. So I just can't. So what you want to do is be able to read it. So just like the guys on the news and the weather and all of that sort of stuff on the TV, they use a teleprompter. And I've got one right here. So this is the teleprompter. Let me pull this in a little bit, see if you can.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can see it. Yeah,
yeah.
There we go. That's better. Yeah. So this little teleprompter works with this camera, and with a little bit of jiggery pokery, it works with this camera, because the camera itself actually sits here. I've got a camera in there. I'll show you. You can probably just about see it, but sits in there. And what we've got here is a screen at a 45-degree angle. And then what I do, and what I've got is on my phone, I've got a teleprompter app, which is a free one. Okay, I don't know if you can see it down there, but it's called Elegant Teleprompter. Okay, and you hit that, and you can upload a script from Google Docs or something onto it. That then sits under there like that, and if you can see it, you can just about see it up here on the screen. So when I hit play and record, I can just read my script and look straight into the camera, and it works really well. All the top people do this. Okay, this is no smoke and mirrors or anything like that. This is how you do it. This is how it's really easy, and you can get videos out really quickly. Okay, use a teleprompter. This one I bought again from Amazon. It was £50, which is what, $60, $65, something like that. And it came complete with everything apart from the tripod, and it goes together in seconds. And honestly, and it actually comes with the teleprompter app itself that you can use online, and it's the same sort of thing. And you can set the speed to it. So you can set it to, if you're talking a little bit faster, or if you want to talk a little bit more slowly, emphasize things. You can do all of that with a teleprompter. It's really good, and you never miss a beat, and you never miss the things out of your script either if you're using a teleprompter. It's really good. So that's what I use. But I don't know if you can see that. What I've actually got in there is a webcam. Okay, and the reason I do that, and I'll just move my phone out of the way a second, is this USB cable, which plugs into the front of my Mac just here, and then I can use that camera. And when I'm recording videos, you probably notice when you look at funnel 1, I've actually got the camera about there, something like that. I'm facing this way. Have my other 2 screens here. So on the video, you've got me on the side, and then the two screens as well. And that works really well. That's one way of identifying and showing what you're doing whilst you're explaining it, because you've got everything on the screen, and it works really well in that respect. So teleprompter with a webcam in there is fantastic, works really well, but it worked equally well with either just a little video camera like that or with the Dji Pocket Osmo. So you've got choices in that respect. If you can get it on the webcam, this is the one that I used with my other Windows computer. It just sits in there. It's brilliant. It works really well. The other thing, importantly, which I don't have on at the moment, is lighting. Okay, and these, let me just pull it in a little bit. I mean, turn it around and just hold it up. So, is on a tripod. Comes with this whole big umbrella thing, and inside here we've just got a bulb that screws in. There we go. If you can hopefully pull it in, so there you go. So you can see it. So this bulb just screws in there. So this sets up just like an umbrella and sits on a tripod. And then you can set up your lighting so that you have the best possible lighting. Now, believe it or not, over here I've got my blinds open, so I've got natural light coming in. But if you look at my screen here, it's kind of light on this side and then gets darker as we go across. And I've got my spotlights on in the ceiling, but it's not enough. So you need a lot of light. And this is why, you know, when you look at people when they're creating films and things like that, there's a ton of lighting. And I've got half a dozen of these. And you set them around in different positions you want, depending on what effect you want as well. If you want to look like you're standing away from a white background, like the white wall behind me, you need to illuminate it so you get that, create that distance. You camera light over the top, lights here, one in your face. So you can have it all over the place and really, you know, have some fun and experiment with it. And actually, there's a lot of really good videos on lighting on YouTube that tell you how to position it. But essentially, what happens is when you're recording something and you play it back, you can tell immediately if there's a lot of lighting or the lighting's right. And then, of course, you can just play around with things. And the good thing about, I suppose, using the webcam and recording the screen is that you can have what your viewer is going to see live on your screen before you actually hit the record button. So you can set things up on your screen and get it just right. And you can play around with it and have loads of fun with it. I actually find recording videos really stressful, only because I have so much fun doing it and I want to get it just right. So, and it takes a little bit of time to get that right. But obviously, the more you do it, the better you get. And it works really well in that respect. So that is what I use. I've got a load more lights over there. I've got one that sits over the top. I've got green screen and another white color here. But because, you know, you use a green screen, you can project whatever you want on the back. JP and I were talking to somebody the other day, and I said to her, is that your view out of your office? Because it was stunning. I thought, wow. But no, it was just a projection from behind it. Obviously, I couldn't see what it was, but it was so obvious green screen. When she moved, which she didn't move, I wouldn't have known, which is why I asked the question. But, you know, there's so much you can do. Technology is really good these days to have any kind of setup that you like. But with videos and lighting and setting up and recording and things like that, YouTube is your friend. And it will help you really a lot in terms of how to get the best from the equipment that you've got. And like I said, you haven't got to spend, you know, hundreds of dollars. You could probably get a really good setup with a good, decent mic, a Rode mic, one of these little cameras off of Amazon, one of those, and some light. I think this lighting I got off of eBay. I think it cost, and I'm talking about pounds, about £15, and I got 4 of these with all the bulbs and the tripods and everything. So everything comes with the diffuser, all of this stuff as well. So it comes complete, and it was really cheap. So I would say probably for $150, maybe a touch more, you could have a really good setup. And if you've got it set up correctly and you do a lot of videos, I would just leave it up. My other lights are just behind me here, or you can't see them, so they're ready to go. So I just slide them in place, pull them up, switch it on. And what I've also done is, because I know where the lights need to be, I've got little bits of tape on the floor, so I know where to put the feet for the tripod. So I need to get the camera and the lighting set up in the same place every time. So you pick up these little tips and tricks as you go, and it works really well in that respect. So that's how I record the videos, as cheap as I can, as best quality I can, particularly with the mic, and I'll read everything on an auto cue. That's it. Yeah. So that's how we create our videos, training videos, YouTube ad videos, videos in general. Yeah. That's it. Phew. That's quite a lot there, really. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to blind you.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot to cover. So
yeah,
it's really good. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this training session about creating your videos, because next week we'll assume you have some videos. Of course, it's all of that is when you want to create your own videos. You could just decide, no, I don't want to create my videos, and just outsource it. But then it's really costly, because when you combine all the tools, all the skills, you need someone to write a script, you need someone to create a slide, or you need an actor to play your script. It's about $200 to $300 a minute. So, well, it's a good skill to learn, especially if you plan to create quite a few videos, and it's always good, because you when you create videos, you deal with copywriting, and it's important to put your hands into copywriting, because then you really understand your customers and how you want things to be relayed to your customers and to your prospects. So I would say, and you, as Paul said, you can really go easy on creating these videos. You don't need anything fancy. You can just create some slides, record the slides, or you can, even if you don't want to record your voice, you could just use some text-to-speech software. There are some really good ones nowadays, and so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of easy stuff. Of course, you will find some people, with mixing tables and multiple cameras, switching angles from screen to cameras, stuff like that. So, okay, it's fine, but you don't have to get started that way. Just create your first video. It could be just with your iPhone or on a stick, and it will be okay. So it's just important that you get your message out. And the best way, of course, is to do it using videos, and that's what we covered today. Yeah,
and going on from what you were saying, JP, the cameras on these phones, this is a Samsung now, but the cameras on the iPhones are superb, aren't they? You could just use that. I know lots of people that do that, and it works really well. It's truly, truly good stuff. And I think, to remember as well, it's that people like to watch. They don't like, people are lazy. They don't like reading stuff anymore. They just like to watch, which is why when you look at, lots of sales letters, they've got a video on them. And as JP was saying, if you hire somebody to do it, I can't remember the guy's name. He was an ex-webman, Bob something or other, big in internet marketing now. He charges an absolute fortune to stand in front of the camera and just read your script for you. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But I think, if you do it yourself, that your understanding and your passion for what you are creating and the message that you're trying to get across just comes out of you. And whereas somebody who you don't know and you're just paying, then, from an emotional point of view, it's not there. It's kind of missing, which is why I like to kind of do it ourselves, because, we can put everything into it. All I would say is, if you're going to use scripts, is you can try. I mean, this is how I do. I read the scripts sort of half a dozen times, and then I'll walk up and down and read it out loud on a printed piece of paper before I then try and do it. So it's kind of familiar, because what you will find is that once you've written something and you've got it on your teleprompter and it's scrolling through for you, you might find that you can ad-lib a little bit. You can put in some additional words and things like that make it a lot more kind of conversational, rather than having a script that you are just reading out. Because sometimes you can watch it and go, and this is a really good script, and they'll smile into the camera and they'll start reading again. And it's really funny to see, and it's very obvious that they're reading off of the teleprompter. Whereas if you've got an idea of what the script is, and you've kind of read it a few times, you get an opportunity then just to look straight into the camera and just ad-lib some stuff in as well, which makes it a lot more real. And it's good fun to do. Yeah. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think we'll have any questions today. So yeah, it was a really good session, and yeah, you can replay it. There will be a recording, and maybe we'll add some notes, so we can give you some resources to go to for softwares and maybe some stuff on Amazon. So
yeah. They won't be affiliate links. Well, I don't have an Amazon affiliate thing, so they'll just be links to products. If I do it, it will be the .co.uk Amazon. There'll be the equivalent on the .com, I'm sure, without doubt. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see you next week on Tuesday, as usual. So come up with your questions, and we should be creating some campaigns live.
Yeah.
In YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, just show up next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.